and sync to... What the fuck? Okay, Jesus fuck. Oh.
Did I not subscribe to Locked and Loaded?
Gotta boost that count. Alright, we're good. We're live. We're up. Fuck the format. We're doing this live. I had... Yes, we are actually live. YouTube says so. So.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is your Locked and Loaded for the evening. We are your hosts, Smart Pig 2150, Sergeant Buck, and Pavaros. Go ahead and say hello, fellas.
Yellow.
We don't really have a plan for this evening. We're just gonna wing it and just start talking crap about each other probably halfway through. So just blame me.
We're gonna try to revive internet blood sports, but in a civil fashion.
Like I have a knife.
Listen, I can have a broken bottle really quick.
Real quick.
Oh shit! I gotta.
Have fun with those knives and broken bottles. I'll just stick with my firearms.
Let's turn that up.
There was a joke I think that was made last night about that.
Oh yeah.
Something, but knives are for pros. I don't fucking remember. It was a rhyme.
I once got
guns for show, knives for pro.
Yep.
I once got told that
That's the one.
I would be bringing the proverbial knife to a gunfight in an argument, and I'd still win. It was in the middle of some kind of meme war on one Facebook groups, those raw meme Facebook groups that I'm part of.
The raw memes.
I mean, knives are better at close quarters, technically speaking. Like, I think was it 6 feet, 5 feet? A knife is better than a gun.
Depends on how trained you are with it, I guess.
It just
really just comes down to training.
Are we talking a pistol or?
Well,
Because I think a rifle,
gun, yeah.
long barrel rifle would
So
that'd be a
obviously not.
bitch.
Yeah, long rifles and that great for CQ.
Well, I saw somewhere that if the guy with the knives at a distance of like 5 or 6 feet, it might have been 10 feet, they can close the distance before you can draw your gun. Something like that.
Yeah, no, that's.
I mean, I don't know. Who's gonna lie to me on the internet? I mean, really.
Right.
I lie to you all the time.
It was an
Thanks,
RT.
Mark.
I can trust them.
Anyway, someone shoot me a link for the actual channel because for some reason I did not. Oh wait, never mind. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There we go. All right, can everybody hear us now?
On Discord. That's strange. Because I can see that's not the case.
What?
On Discord it says you two are offline, and I don't know why.
What?
Oh,
that's
yeah,
because
no,
we're
I've-
set. Hang on.
I mean,
Let me fix that.
you're in the chat window, and that's fine.
How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
I'm
Now
set to
I don't feel so
offline.
alone.
Yeah. No, I usually spend
Just go
all
ahead
of my
and
time in the offline mode,
that.
just invisible mode, because I don't like getting random DMs from people, or people telling me that I need to come play a game with them when I don't want to play that fucking game.
Yeah.
I
I ended up getting cornered and downloading Rust. I think it was yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
instead of playing RimWorld like I wanted to, and yeah. It's like, damn it, I didn't want to play this masochistic game ever again, but this guy's my friend, and I want to play games with him.
I just have myself offline because I'm not in a.
You're antisocial, Paul.
Oh yeah, it's
You're in
antisocial
you're
pop
in
today.
a leave me alone today mood. Which I have plenty of those. I mean, sometimes there's days where I come onto Steam and everyone's like, "He's online, get him!" Hey, come play a game with me.
The amount of times where I'm just sitting there and I'm having a conversation with you, Buck, and you're typing furiously to just random people.
It's mostly just go away.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
Your keyboard is so fucking loud too.
That's because I got my fucking Yeti by my keyboard.
Why don't you have a shock mount for your Yeti?
Because I've got no place to put it.
Have you not thought of building a swing arm somehow?
Where am I gonna? What am I gonna drill into the ceiling? What am I gonna do here? I mean, This is
You
not
have
my
a desk,
permanent
right?
residence. I plan to be moving on.
Do you have a desk?
Yes, it's a really
Is it
shitty,
is
like, not
but it
actual wood desk. It's like
but it's your desk,
it
right?
is my desk. So if I drill into it,
So you
it's gonna give
can
a fuck.
you can mount it to that, yeah.
Oh, I've drilled in. Yeah,
Would I have to
like I've done that.
put it on
It's
like
like
the
I
right
can't drill into
side
mine because
by
it's
this
plated
drawer?
it's plate glass, but you know.
Oh,
I mean, I
I
mean, you
I went.
you can. It won't end well, but you can.
Well, I want the desk to stay intact, so.
Ideally, yeah.
I,
But then
I
again, when I get my own place, I plan on like building some kind of desk into the wall, like putting the
ooh,
monitor on a swing
yeah.
arm mount on the wall, and
Yep.
putting my keyboard on a swing arm mount on the wall, and a
Oh,
mouse on a swing arm mount on the wall. I
I
like
mean,
everything swing arm
I
mount so that I can just fold them up and put them away so that there's not a desk taking up space when I'm not using it.
yeah. No,
yeah.
I'd like to have something like what Nick's got going with. He's got it mounted. He's
In the
got his mic
closet.
mounted to the ceiling, so he can just move it
Really?
around however he wants.
Does
Yeah,
he?
I think he does. Yeah.
Neat.
I just have my mic on a boom arm.
I mean, like,
It's right in front of my
That's what a
face.
swing arm is.
I want to do
Yeah.
the boom arm, but my desk is made of like really shitty particle board that cracks so easily.
Yeah.
Like,
See, I went to God, what was
I need
it?
a good
Uh,
desk.
Staples, and Staples just had a few like desks in clearance,
Mm-hmm.
and it was this, and is huge corner desk. You know, it kind of fits into the corner
So
with.
apparently, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay,
Apparently they can't hear us.
they
They can
can't
hear
hear it.
Buck, but they can't hear you or
I
I.
turned up the desktop audio through OBS, so they should be able to hear us now. Everyone, not just me.
Oh, okay.
Are we coming through all right, chat?
Yeah, you know, I can hear myself.
Okay.
Well, of course you can hear yourself. I would be
I-
concerned if you couldn't.
I
No,
forgot
through the
about
stream, dumbass. Uh, so there was this thing that's
No,
going on.
cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll let you guys take over.
We were gonna let you take over with that.
No,
You were
I'm-
saying something,
I actually interrupted you, so you were in the middle of saying something. Go ahead.
bueno.
What the hell, Pav? Just leave me hanging there.
Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too?
But yeah, I mean, it's like I want to do everything on a boom or a swing arm because like I need to reposition myself. It's like I either want to get one of those transitioning standing sitting desks so that I can stand when I'm at the computer
Yeah.
if I want to, because you know I sometimes have issues with my back.
You and me both.
And sitting all day is not exactly good for that, right?
Yeah.
But it's like I've always had, like, one of the plans is to build like a mainframe system for the entire house, right? And then just everybody every having a station in the different rooms to do different things, like an actual computer in an office, like a keyboard, mouse, and everything like that, and then in the rest of the house, like having touch screens and stuff in places, and just have like a do-it-yourself smart house almost.
Like what
It's
Apple
all
wants, but
based.
less expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and like I have all these plans for like the mainframe being like refrigeration cooled,
Uh-huh.
like actually building a refrigeration system for it, where
Okay.
like you know how they have water cooling in computers. Just I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
build something like that, except on a much larger scale, so that I can put the server into this closet and not have to worry about it overheating or anything, and just have the radiators on the outside, just venting whatever heat that system is building up, because I
Mm-hmm.
understand how refrigeration and the refrigeration cycle works now, and I understand how to do all that. It's just, having the money and the space to do it
Yeah.
at this point. And he's like, the next thing, I understand how to do that. I understand how to do how to actually build the components and everything and put them into a rack system. I just need to learn how to program,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
like
Like
find a
for
good program
for
to
the server
actually do that
specifically,
with.
then yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot of the servers, a lot of servers are actually like custom programmed.
Yeah.
Someone hires a company to custom program the operating system, or to customize a Linux system so that they can like run their own custom server settings and everything like that. And I don't know how to do that, and I've never actually been able to sit down and start tinkering with it, or have somebody actually teach me how to do it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like I'm not good at self-learning, right? I've tried self-learning on a lot of things. I'm self-taught on a lot of things, but that doesn't mean it's like it takes forever sometimes,
Yeah. It depends on how
right?
interested you are in whatever it is you're trying to teach yourself. Like, works with guitar. For me, it worked with guitar, with 3D modeling, and with writing. With physics and chemistry, not so much.
hmm So like the plans is like eventually, when I've got a house, I can actually start devoting some of my time to doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and just build the ultimate system that I want. You ever watch oh, what was it? Die Hard 4. That one
Not
where it's
four.
that yeah, like the one where he's where they have the hacker guy in it.
I haven't seen. I've seen one and two. I haven't seen.
Live Free or Die Hard. You've
Yeah.
never
Nope.
seen that one?
Nope. I got to work on my
Okay,
movies, my
well,
dude.
yeah, you'd have to watch that one to understand. Well, what I want to do is have my main, like, it's kind of what I did before, is like I had my monitor was a large screen television,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I had a secondary monitor as an actual computer monitor,
Uh huh.
right? What I kind of want to do that with the actual like living room is where I'd have a large, like, this is like wishful thinking, but like a big 4K wraparound TV
Yeah.
as the main monitor. That's what I'd be playing games on. It's what I'd be watching YouTube on. It's what, like, things like that. But for like doing Facebook or little things like that, I'd have that on just a smaller actual computer monitor on a swing arm mount, and then and have one of those old school style desks, like school desks, where you've got the writing surface that swings down or swings back up. Like, have something like that
Yeah.
for
I
the
get what you're
keyboard
saying
and
now. Yeah.
mouse.
Yeah.
And then like if we want to watch TV, we can just watch TV. If we want to do this, that, or the other, we can still do that too. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, I mean, there's just so many different neat little ideas that I get that I want to put together. But they all require a massive amount of money compared to what I have.
Yeah.
So get wrecked, right? Where the hell did Pav go?
Sounded like he went to get a refill, but
If he went to get a refill, okay. I did not hear where he was going.
yeah,
He just said, "Oh, yeah, I'll just let you guys talk."
he'll be back.
All right, he
I'm sure
better
he is.
be.
Yeah. I just need a fucking job now.
Mm.
Besides, like, I like catering. It's fun. I like getting to work with my hands, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to move on.
Oh man. Speaking of jobs, dude, holy crap. It's like I have I didn't have a weekend.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
freaking
my first day off was yesterday. Like Saturday was my grad party, and that was like a whole day of trying to get a taco bar done and shit. And then
yeah, and I did not have.
fucking see this is the nice thing about living out in the country. I ended the night with more beer than I started with.
Oh, nice.
People kept bringing me drinks. I'm like, oh fuck. Like,
Nice.
like a couple of my friends from college showed up, and you know, we bought these two 24 packs of beer from Costco. We had them on ice, all that, and he was like, hey, we brought this 12 pack of Legion. I'm like, thank God, but we've got no place to put them. Shit.
Nice.
And then after that, like, more people be coming up. Here's a 6-pack of was it like New Belgium Voodoo Ranger IPA or like mentioned? I'm just like, Jesus Christ. No, please, like, we have coolers full. Just go over there. Yes, I like the beer, but please drink. I bought too much. I overestimated how many people would actually show up.
Let's see. Friday, Pav and I were supposed to do a stream counting down to when you went on with Rucka Rucka, right?
Yeah,
Rucka
he and I
Ali.
did the stream, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't able to do it because I had family over, right?
That's fair.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not faulting them for it or anything. It's just
How dare
it
you
wouldn't
have
have been
family?
yeah, it wouldn't have been very conducive to streaming because there were little kids running around and they had the TV going for the really young ones. We're talking like not even a year old.
Yeah.
Young.
Extra
And
young,
well, no, I guess they're more than a year old, but
somewhere between
either way, there was a
one
lot
and
of
the terrible
loud
twos,
noises.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah, there was a lot of loud noises, and it wouldn't have been very conducive to streaming. Freaking Saturday, I ended up doing some emergency response team stuff with my Patriot group. We went down to this place called Live Oaks, Florida, to help fix up a trailer that this lady was living in because her now ex-boyfriend went psychotic.
Oh, fun.
And yeah, so like he'd busted the doors and he'd broken at least one of the windows. She was trying to say it was two, but looking at the freaking plywood that already had a hole drilled in it put over top of it, you know it was only one that he actually had busted out. And I went through and she was complaining about her AC, and I was like, well, of course your AC isn't going to be working very well. You've got a big fucking hole in your house. And I went through and I checked some of the receptacles that weren't working anymore, and it's like they were so caked full of fucking bug shit. It's no wonder they weren't fucking working.
Lovely.
It's like, god damn. And this was a double wide trailer that had been built back in 2011, and yet it looks like it had been built in like 1993 with how fucked up it was. It was bad. And then yesterday, freaking, I had to leave and actually, you know, work.
Yeah.
Because we had to take care of some things on this house. So we had to go and make up a panel and trace out where all the wires and where all the circuits went. Right? And then today we went back to that place because the guy who was remodeling the house, he's trying to flip this house, right? And he had the walls torn out, and we're just seeing such heinous looking shit in it. It's like running splices everywhere, electrical tape used instead of freaking wire nuts in a bunch of places, freaking spaghetti ball bird's nests joints in freaking junction boxes. And it's like I spent 2 hours today taking apart a few joints in this junction box that I could only freaking get one hand anywhere near because it was up in the ceiling right next to a freaking AC vent.
Yeah.
And it's like I've got so many little cuts on my hands from the freaking wire, and it took me 2 freaking hours because I did not have the space I needed to get my clines in to actually freaking make the new joints and put wire nuts on.
Christ.
It was fucking horrible.
Yeah.
But then again, I also had to freaking make sure which wires went where and did what, and it it took a lot longer than it was supposed to.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't actually get out of that place until like 7:30.
Fucking
We got there, but we got there around 5. It's like I started we started trying to get all the stuff together around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but
Mm-hmm.
of course we can't just go to freaking Home Depot and pick up the stuff. We actually have to get a length of wire. It took an hour and a half for someone at Home Depot to actually come over and measure out the length of wire we needed and cut the length of wire. And today was
Welcome
just
to
a shit show
retail.
for that. Yeah, today was just a shit show
Fucking
for it.
A.
And we're going back tomorrow to finish freaking sorting out all the running splices that we found. And we refuse to look for any more problems because if we keep looking, we're going to end up having to just condemn the entire wiring system in the house because it was that fucking bad.
Yeah.
It's like they did this like addition or this remodeling where they took like a carport or a garage of some kind that was attached to the house and they turned it into a den, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like whoever did the electrical remodeling in it to wire up said den freaking was using scraps from other jobs. So you didn't have anything that was actually the length it was supposed to be. It was all like everything was spliced together. Like you had a wire that's going from like halfway through between one junction box and another junction box, spliced to another freaking junction box, to another wire going all the way to the rest of the way of the junction box, and like they had a freaking for the water heater. This was the best part. I was like for the water heater they had a like a 10 gauge 2-wire Romex
Uh-huh.
going into the panel, right? The entrance, the service entrance panel is what
Yeah.
the code calls it. It's where all your breakers and everything are.
Yep. Right.
But
Yeah.
where it's actually connected into the wall, where the water heater is actually connected into the wall, it's a 12 gauge 2-wire, which is a size smaller than what it's supposed to be because American wire gauge, the smaller the number on the gauge, the larger the gauge wire is, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, so freaking ugh. And when we actually found where the run splice was made, when it went from the 10 gauge wire to the 12 gauge wire, we made a little discovery that kind of just told us that this water heater never fucking worked after they had tried to wire it that way. Because they had, going to the circuit breaker, they had a red and a
Right.
black.
Yeah. Positive and negative.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. Going to the circuit breaker, they had a white and a black
White
and
and
a
black,
red
yeah.
that was capped off and cut short, so it wasn't in the way. But the
Right.
splice on the other end of said wire had the white going to the red and the black going to the black. So only one of those leads coming out of the wall actually had voltage on it. And the other lead didn't go anywhere.
Fucking
Didn't go anywhere. It's like there's no way it would have had any power. Fucking and the junction box that I was messing with up in the ceiling,
Yeah.
all of the ground wires were actually wired to the freaking hot wires.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, no,
Lovely.
the whole house is probably a walking electrical fire if it actually walked.
That sounds like my neighbor's place. I was helping him remodel his basement last year, and the house was built back in like the 1950s, and I was helping him like take down ceiling panels, put up new paneling on the walling and all that. And at one point we got everything down, and there's like the basement and like the master bedroom for the basement. And as we're
Bob has
pulling,
been gone for like 15 minutes.
I know he's not getting a refill.
Maybe he's taking a dump.
Yeah, probably. That seems likely. But like we're just kind of just moving wires around trying to figure out where they go. And at one point, my neighbor, he's like, I'm a noob when it comes to electrical stuff. He's much more experienced about it, but pulls out this bundle of uncapped wires from the wall, and he's like, I wonder where these go. And we're like moving things around, and he goes, wait a minute. he's got this little I forget what it's called. It's a little detector, like you hold it up to a live wire and it chirps.
Yeah, it's a tick tracer.
Tick tracer, that's what it's called. Thank you. And
Slang is it's a tick tracer. It's a voltage detector. It's a non-contact. It's a no contact voltage detector.
okay,
They're useful, but they're also unreliable at the same time.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So he just on a whim holds the tick tracer up to this unkept bundle of wires, and it starts going off, and he's like, "What?" So they just had in the master bedroom wall a bundle of wires that was live and went nowhere.
Nice.
It's like, wow. Are
Nice.
you fucking kidding
Yeah.
me?
That's fucking great.
Oh man.
I would figure out what contracting company had wired that house and then sue the shit out of them.
I think it was just one guy.
Mm.
I think he's dead now.
Hey. Well, let's fucking hope so. It's like we don't want him wiring any more houses.
We're gonna charge you with posthumous arson.
It's like, okay, how are you going to freaking punish me? I'm already fucking dead.
My lifeless remains cannot be sued.
No, but your estate can.
Yeah, that's true.
If you
that's
have
very
one.
true. Man, that was a trip remodeling. But it was fun. I got to hang with him a bunch, and we got to swap stories. But just that was like, wow. Thank God I didn't grab that bundle of wires.
Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse.
I don't know. I mean, I've actually like laid hands on live wires before and not been affected at all. It's like freaking as
Did
long
you
as you
grab like
don't
the
make
coating or like the bare
bare wire.
Okay then.
It's like you can grab onto a bare wire without getting like shocked or electrocuted. You just got to make sure you don't have a path to ground,
Yeah.
right? It's how freaking line workers can work on live electrical lines without getting electrocuted. They don't create a path between them and wherever that voltage wants to go.
Yeah.
It's like you see freaking it's like high tension power lines. You've seen like have you seen that Modern Marvels episode where they're talking about electricity in the American power grid?
I haven't, no.
You need to look it up. It's actually really neat. There's these guys who inspect and repair high tension lines, like long distance high tension lines with like a surplus of 2400 volts running through them.
Wow.
Right? And they're on a helicopter, and the helicopter drops them off onto the wire and they're hanging from this wire while they're checking it. And they're fine. I mean, they're wearing these special suits so that the voltages run around them rather and the electro
through
the
them,
changing
yeah.
like the electromagnetic flux that's going because it's alternating current. It's not going so it doesn't harm them or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know they're fine. Is if they were to like create a circuit from the line to like a ground, like the ground itself, then they would be vaporized. But as long as they're not doing that, then they're fine.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's really freaking cool. Electricity is like the most terrifying thing to me, but it's also one of the most intriguing things.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen guys like get thrown across the room by 50,000 volts.
I've seen the same thing happen.
Not 50,000, not 50,000 volts. What am I saying? It's like a 5,000 watt power supply.
Yeah. I've seen the same
Like
thing after they stab a fucking
50
truck tire.
Yeah, no, it was a 50,000 watt power supply for a satellite communications equipment. Like they went and they did something stupid. It was still charged, right?
Yeah.
And they like stuck their hand in there and they ended up like 12 feet across the room because it went bzz, and they went fucking flying. It's fucking terrifying.
Because muscle
I've
contractions,
I've actually ended up having to give a couple of people freaking CPR because of that shit. it's terrifying. It terrifies me, but it intrigues me at the same time.
How does this happen? Have you seen? Are you familiar with any of the? What's it? There's a channel called Electro Boom. Have you seen any of his
No, I
stuff?
don't think I have.
He does a lot of like debunking. Did one video where he was like debunking free energy. Like some kid was like, I've made free energy, and he's like, no, you haven't.
No,
He's this
yeah.
guy from. I think he's from India, but like most of the videos are just him hurting himself with electricity to be like, okay, don't do this.
Oh, yeah, I think I have seen that.
Like,
It's
was
like
it
there's this
how
one
to?
video that I was actually looking at earlier on Facebook where he's like attaching electrodes to graphite
Yeah,
and things like that, and he's making the graphite like explode and hurting him. And
yeah,
like there's one point where he takes the two electrodes and freaking he sets the pencil he can't keep the pencil lead, the mechanical pencil lead from
yeah.
shattering. So he uses a regular pencil and he attaches the electrodes and he's sending voltage through it, but it caught the graphite like heats up and catches the wood in the pencil on fire. And then he's making arcs between these two electrodes. And like the first time he does it, he's not wearing a welding mask.
Yeah.
So the arc actually really fucking hurts his eyes.
Jesus.
And then he puts on the freaking goggles with the second take, and he's like making those arcs, and he's like, "Yeah, this is really cool." Like arc, 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 and then he holds them together as the massive arc that's going for a while, and then his fucking gloves catch on fire, and it's like he pulls it away, and you see his gloves on fire, and like, "Am I on fire? Oh my god, I'm on fire!" Like his fucking little outtakes like that, and it's on purpose.
Yeah.
Everything, every little accident that he has is on purpose.
He
But
knows what he's
it's
doing, but it still
hilarious.
hurts. Like,
It's hilarious.
the fuck is it? What the one that stuck in my head is when he's like, "How to make an electric guitar?" Well, I don't know. It's just some wires and a piece of wood, right? So he just puts like 3 live wires across a really shitty guitar body and just plugs it into the wall. He's like,
Oh my
okay, 1,
god.
2, 3, strum, and just shocks himself.
That's fucking hilarious. So speaking of electric guitars, like my brother, he's really good at welding for like 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah.
He's got this Facebook video of him. He's fabricated this freaking metal guitar looking thing, right? And he can play the guitar too, so it kind of makes sense. But he's taken an arc welder and he's attached one of the electrodes, the neutral electrode or the hot electrode to the guitar end, and he's just taking the freaking end that's supposed to create the arc and weld shit with the arc, and he's just strumming on the metal piece, and you're just seeing sparks flying off while he's playing I think he's playing a Metallica song on it.
Oh,
But
goddamn.
you can see him freaking strumming, like moving his hands up and down the bridge and doing the different chords and everything.
Yeah.
But all you're seeing is the sparks and the noise from the sparks coming off of it as he's strumming the non-existent guitar strings. It's freaking awesome to look at and hilarious at the same
Sounds
time.
fucking metal.
Yeah, he gives zero fucks. He's pretty cool, and he's my little brother.
Goddamn.
I don't have anything that crazy. I just have, a normal
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back.
microphone Les Paul. Sorry.
Welcome back.
I'm dealing with a lot of shit over here. I apologize.
You're good.
That's okay. We're having a very relaxed stream tonight, so.
Yeah, I
Don't
apologize.
get
I've missed a lot of it. I'm just I
What
have
are you talking about? It's a 2-hour stream, and you've missed like only 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Okay. I felt like the conversation was kind of heavy. We're talking about our film production stuff, so
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds like more work related than this. So.
Yeah,
it kind of
tonight is literally just let's just talk shit to each other.
Yeah.
Night.
Oh man, oh man, I could show you some of my terrible like first music video I ever made. And you'd have a lot of shit talking like material right there.
Not really
I mean,
considering
I can send you some of the
you.
shit posty videos I've made. I can bring those up
Oh,
right now.
And I haven't even
did you
made
see
any
this shit?
videos myself yet, so
Did you see that shit posting video I made today?
no.
I think I missed it. I'd
Buck.
have to look. I'd have to
Okay.
look. I can call
Um.
it up right now if you want me to.
No, no. Well, no, no.
No, not on
think
No.
I'm
stream.
sub. I think
Eh,
I'm sub to you on my normie account.
I so I actually lost my Adobe license. So I had to I'm like, oh shit, I no longer had an editing software. So I'm like, oh, there's a software called Resolve or DaVinci Resolve and
Oh wow, I'm
it's
not subscribed to
free.
you.
And so I'm like, all right, I gotta quickly learn how to do
I
this.
am now.
And I found just a bunch of old footage that I was just recording at nauseum. Um, and so I
2 hours ago, names low effort.
yes,
Okay,
I
that's the right
did. That
one.
was I just made like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna mix.
It's a
Uh,
black screen.
yes. And
What
then
am I
and then
doing with my life?
and then I just and then it's like 2 minutes of me just bullshitting on Fallout 4 with slow-mo turned on. And just lobbing grenades at people. I'm like I'm like, all
I'm
right.
seeing it now.
Did you just take a
That's
ton of
hilarious.
fucking jet and just?
Well, no, I had the mod bullet time. I
Oh, okay. So,
I removed
so
the
you went full John Wick then.
yeah, no, I removed the action point requirement.
Mm-hmm.
I turned it on and I gave myself just a shit ton of grenades and I just ran around in slow-mo just
Yeah,
throwing
I'm
grenades
watching.
at them
This is pretty hilarious.
while all at the same time I'm listening to a song called Angel Baby, which is this really happy just like 1950s song. And I'm like,
I'm gonna have to watch this later after the stream before I fall asleep.
it
It was
was
hilarious.
it was just me
Actually,
bullshitting around.
Buck, pull it up. Pull it up so that
Oh god.
everybody has the link.
It's okay.
Like, give everybody the link.
But yeah, all it was
YouTube.
is I was trying to not relearn, but trying to learn the differences within DaVinci from Premiere, and that's just what I came up with. Because I'm like, oh fuck, I don't have
I
anything.
mean, it
to
could be better. I mean,
Oh
the
yeah,
only game I've
100%.
playing, the only game I've been playing since we played Borderlands 2 the other night has been RimWorld. I was trying to freaking play it last night when my buddy started spamming my freaking Steam account with play Rust, Rust, come play Rust with me, play Rust. I miss you, dude. Come on, play Rust. I'm like, fuck, fine, all right. So I downloaded Rust in like 10 minutes again and was playing and I'm like, dude, I'm starting to remember why I don't play Rust anymore. Because I'd gotten killed like 8 fucking times. It's fucking brutal. I can't. I can't.
I would just avoid people.
It's kind of hard to avoid people when, you know, the server has 270 people on it.
Oh
Oh my
Jesus!
god, that
No.
this
Like
is what I'm
every
thinking. We
single
just had the
time,
fucking
every
same
single
server.
time I saw someone, there was an arrow in my head within half a second of me seeing that person.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Like,
man.
well, shit. It's like I think I'd
And
gathered like 8 or 9,000 resources of metal.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I had actually gotten 1,000 back to our little base that had been built, it was rough. It was rough. I'm just gonna say that. Like before that though, I'd spent like 2.5 hours going through the mods list in the Steam workshop for RimWorld, trying to find some more stuff to make RimWorld more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's interesting as it is, but I want more. I want to advance further. I want to freaking make this community as self-sustaining as I can make it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm not sure, but I think maybe you can actually have more than one colony on the same save file. Like you're controlling two different colonies at the same time, two different communities at the same time, and that's what I was going to experiment with last night, but I ended up freaking playing freaking Rust for an hour and a half, getting shot with arrows like 8 or 9 times, and then I was like, you know what? I don't want to get into this because I got school tomorrow. So I went and I laid down and stuff. It was yesterday, and this entire weekend was a weekend. It's like, did you hear about my weekend, or were you in the conversation with whoever?
Yeah, no, I was talking to one of my coworkers that entire time, so I
Yeah.
couldn't hear anything. But so are you about to play that, Buck?
I can.
I don't see. I haven't got it's got the whole song on there. Like I didn't edit the song in any way, shape, or form. So
So we might
I'm
not want to
surprised.
play it on here.
So so I'm not entirely sure that's like that's the joke of the whole video, is that the song is so disconnected from what's going on. And so like I'm surprised I haven't gotten it like kicked off, but I'd rather not if we
This right now, this channel has less subscribers than you do. So
how many oh I have an inflated number of subscribers because
did someone buy you some subs?
Nick and Jeff they
Oh,
told
I remember
everybody.
now.
Yeah, they told
Yeah.
everybody to go subscribe to my channel, and I never uploaded anything.
Yeah, it's like the last upload before this one was like 5 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm in the middle of making a video right now, which is the reason why I had to quickly learn fucking DaVinci.
Da Vinci.
Because because I'm like I no longer have a way to edit what I'm doing. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
you were telling me about that on Friday
Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah.
I couldn't stream with you guys because family sucks.
Mm. We didn't end up really doing anything. I tried to get as many people as I could to go watch Buck stream with Rucka. That was dope.
There was like 20 people watching that, wasn't there?
I watched it the whole time, and I was
16.
Yeah, it averaged around like 13 views the entire time.
Yeah, Friday night I actually went to bed early because I knew I was gonna be stay.
Yeah.
So I about like I think it was halfway through the stream, I was like,
It was kind of late for you anyway.
Yeah.
yeah, it was like 12:30 when I went to bed.
Oof.
So that's real late for you then.
And I got up at like I woke up at like 6:30 and was not able to get sleep.
Yeah.
So I ended up waking up early anyways, and then fucking I didn't get home till like 9 o'clock that night. I left at like, no, it wasn't even 9 o'clock. I left at 10, drove 2 hours, fucking spent like 5 or 6 hours fucking dealing with this lady's bullshit. Then drove 2 hours home, and I didn't get home till like 10:30, almost 11.
Jesus.
It was Saturday was a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday was a day.
I've had a pretty long weekend myself.
I
can't even call the weekend my weekend because my work week starts on Thursday and ends on Monday.
Yeah.
So my weekend is Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, I have like 4 or 5 weekends in a row, as in Monday, like last week and the week before. It's like I didn't have a whole lot of side work coming in, right? And then yesterday, it's like we got a whole bunch of work piled into our laps. So like I had to work yesterday, and then I had to work today, and I'm going to be working tomorrow, and then I'm going to be working Wednesday and Thursday, and just trying to get all this stuff. And I'm going to be working Saturday, all of Saturday, because that's how long this job is going to take. So, yay. I mean, on the one hand, it's a good thing because I like keeping busy, so to
Yeah.
speak. It's like I'm trying not to fall back into the I don't really want to fucking do anything and I'm going to be lazy as shit. I want to actually fucking do stuff,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't mind, like, as long as I'm getting something out of it, I don't mind not getting home until like 9 o'clock at night. You know, I
Right.
don't mind like on the weekend freaking getting up at 7 o'clock, leaving the house by 8, and then not being home until 8 that evening, both Saturday and Sunday, as long as I'm doing something productive or something entertaining or whatever. I mean, it kind of sucks that I don't get to spend as much time with my wife, Smart Panda, but at the same time, you know, it's like I don't want to fall back into the old habits that I allowed myself to fall into while I was in the army. Is like, you know, we had these these this weird ass schedule where we would work 12 hours. Like we'd have 2 days during day shift. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening on duty, and then we do PT. So I wouldn't be getting home till like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
Mm.
And then we do that for 2 days in a row. And then we'd have a 24-hour off period. And then we do 2 night shifts in a row. And then we'd have 3.5 days off because we'd have the rest of that day when we get off of night shift. Then we'd have 2 days, and then we'd have a training day at the end of that set at the beginning of our so-called work week. You know, and it was a big burnout. Like whenever I was not on duty, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to freaking deal with anything or anyone. And I hated it. And now that I'm not in the army and I'm actually doing things that like fucking just grab and hold my interest, I don't want to lose that. I don't want to freaking stop learning stuff. I don't want to freaking stop doing things that I love doing. But, you know, it's like as soon as I'm done with school, I'm going to have to find an actual job
Oof,
and
jobs suck.
well, it's like if I get a
Fine.
job, it's like right now I'm actually thinking that I want to do as a regular job. It's like the 9 to 5 type, you know, 40 hours a work week job. I don't I want to freaking get into commercial refrigeration or like uh commercial AC, like working in skyscrapers with big um dual refrigerant freaking chiller systems that use chilled water to keep the entire building cool, because like not only is that really fucking neat because there's so much physics actually involved with it, but
Science.
it's a really well-paying job. It's like I could
Mm.
if I just get like two freaking years of experience, I can get a journeyman's license in AC, HVAC, and refrigeration,
Right.
and I could be making like 40, $50 an hour, and I could go to any fucking city in the fucking country and make 40, $50 an hour.
I see. I'm the exact opposite of you. Like, if my perfect job would be like, uh, being an editor for like film stuff or going off and like running a sound booth.
I mean,
Um,
that would be cool. It's just
that's
Meanwhile, I am so fucking unemployable. So like I shit you not. I don't mean to just. I'm gonna just kind of bowl in here, but I've applied for oh my god, it's like at least 8 or 9 different jobs. Two inquiries I got were for insurance sales, which is great when you're a fucking writer. Which you're paid on commission. I'm like, that's great. I want to die because I am not a good salesman. I can't convince someone to use something I wouldn't use myself. I did get I did get one offer for a senior tech writer at a small company down in Amazon, which sounds nice, but there were a couple of red flags. Not Amazon, it was a small IT company in downtown Seattle. And first red flag was, okay, I'm a university graduate. Why do you want me to be your senior tech writer for all of your internal documentation? That doesn't make any sense. But I was like, well, you know what? Maybe we can just talk about it. So I arranged, let's get an interview going. And then I got a call from a number that was in Florida.
Oh, joy.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have your number, so it wasn't me.
Yeah. So, okay, process of elimination.
Probably fix that later.
But so after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to look this number up. It was some company called IntelliSwift. And I found them on Yelp. 1-star review. I'm like, oh boy.
How many reviews did they have?
7.
Damn.
But the very first one was a glowing 5-star review of, they helped me get a good job. They're really nice for the hiring process. Da 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 da. Never said what job it was. Just that I got hired here and they were nice. I'm like, well, that's helpful. And then the rest of the reviews were like 1 star, 1.5, 1 star, and it's like, yeah. Like some people were like, yeah, I called for an interview and they just kept rescheduling the interview. There were 4 or 5 that were like, yeah, don't call them back. They asked for your name, address, and social security number right off the bat. I'm like, okay, bye. Not dealing with you.
Oh.
But like I've only heard back from Google and Bungie. That's it.
Bungie, really?
And those were both no's.
Oh.
But well, okay, the position at Bungie was like a data analyst, which is basically I am just overseeing the play testers and giving data to senior designers based on their feedback, which is fine. I can do that. I did that in tech writing. But they found someone more qualified apparently. But I've heard nothing back from...
You're just out of college.
Yeah. I've heard nothing back from Nintendo, nothing from Amazon, nothing from Microsoft. Just like, motherfucker, I want a job. Like, I'm...
Well, you can start lowering your standards. Stop trying to go for those big companies and try to build a resume up a little bit.
Well, right now I'm trying for a warehouse gig down in Kent for a textbook warehouse.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, I've heard they've got really good prospects for promotion within the company. So I'm like, okay, cool. If I have to start pushing textbooks in a cart for $12 an hour, that's fine. I mean, Kent is a long way from where I live, but I'll make the trip if I have to.
Well, you could always go into the blue collar sector.
What, back to kitchens?
No.
I'm kidding.
That's different than blue collar. Sorry, that came out wrong.
I'm just giving you shit, so.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, I can tell you right now that all trades are seriously looking for people. Like, it doesn't matter if it's plumbing, masonry, electrical, or freaking HVAC. They're all looking for people, and you can still make a decent amount of money. And there's nothing stopping you from freaking like furthering your writing career while you do that.
Right.
It's just
I haven't put that off the table, but right now I'm not in a position to spend more on education.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Is like you don't really need to spend money on education. Like you can.
They'll just train you on the job.
You said you have your that's like what 90% of the trades are. It's on the job training.
Okay.
It's like you start out as Is freaking what's it?
I mean, I have been looking at some machine shop technician, like low end machine shop technician gigs, and I'm like, well, fuck, I'm not afraid of manual labor.
Well, I know a couple people who work in machine shops, and they actually do pretty well for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like, is Washington a union state?
I know we have a lot of unions, so I'm going to say
Is like,
yes.
is it required? Like, look into, see if it's actually required for you to be in a union.
I mean, I'd have to look that up. As far as I know, based on previous job experience, I think it is because I had a gig at a grocery store and I had to be in the union for that. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
Okay.
no. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
Ugh.
if
So
it differs depending on your line of work, but I'm going to assume that it is a union
I'm
state. So
pretty. If you had to be in the union for how it works, it's like a
yeah,
lot of most of the northern states, they're union states, right?
yeah.
They have. It's like there's a freaking Civil War pun right there. Freaking you're required to
They
be in a
have
union.
bayonets too.
Yeah, you're required to be in a union in order to freaking work any of the actual skilled trades. Um, what you can do is you can look at the local unions, like the
Mm-hmm.
different unions for like plumbing or for masonry or what have you, and then you can go and talk to them about like what you need to do to be in freaking get into their apprenticeship program, and then they'll send you to work,
Right.
right? Because they'll make money off of you. And it might not be great work to start with, but you'll start learning a trade and you don't have to spend money on it. Like you'll
Okay.
pay union dues, of course, but that'll be based off of how much money you make working for the union. And
Yeah.
you'll be a green worker, so you'll make like I don't know what minimum wage in Washington is, but
It's like 10 an
It's
hour.
yeah, no,
you'll
it's
make
11 now.
yeah, you'll
Fuck.
make you'll make at least 11 or 12 an hour.
Isn't it 15
You,
in Seattle now?
Well, it's 15 in Seattle, but over I think at the beginning of 2018 we went up to either 11 or 12.
Jesus Christ.
Because the entire state is trying to slowly implement the 15 an hour.
yeah,
Yeah,
freaking
that's how people lose their jobs.
you can go to one of the union hall ship program,
Okay.
what they require, what basic knowledge they require to become an apprentice at said union hall, and then you can just look that information up
Okay.
and they'll train you. I mean, like the electrical union down here at least, like they have, it requires 4 year experience in trade in the union to get your journeyman certification, right?
Mm-hmm.
During those 4 years, the union will put you to work, but like every Thursday night you go in for classroom time while they where you learn certain things that are required for you to learn to be a journeyman in that trade, right?
That sounds a hell of a lot better than the fucking UFCW union, which was every week you have to go down to the state capitol and protest.
Well, yeah, I
I mean
mean,
that was the thing when I was at Safeway was I get weekly calls like you have to come down and represent the union, like hold picket signs and shit, and I'm like, that's a 4 hour trip. Pay me.
yeah,
They
no,
stopped calling after that. Like
that's
if the union's gonna put on like an actual class where I can learn things relevant to what it is I'm gonna be doing, killer.
Oh yeah,
My
no,
dad's
you know
union
they,
does that.
my yeah, at least the union that I'm a part of at my job, which is again bullshit. Um,
look up
It really
they
depends
like
don't
on the
train you
union.
on shit.
the the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. That is the electrical union. It's the National
Okay.
Electrical Union. All right. And the local union house, those are the local union hall's rules. Is like if you're going to join until you become journeyman level,
Yeah.
you will every Thursday you will come and do this, and you get your pay from the union. It's like,
Right.
and they have benefits and everything like that, right?
Right.
Um, and like you will show up at the union hall and they'll say, hey, you're going to go work here for today. And you'll go and work there for the day. And then you'll show up the next morning and you'll say, hey, they'll say, okay, you're going to go work over here for the day. And if you actually make like there were a lot of cases where if you make a good impression on whoever you're working for that day, they'll just say, okay, from now on, you're just going to show up and you're going to report directly to me. Don't worry about going back to the union hall. I'll let them know you're going to work for me from now on.
Yeah.
Right. But you still had that while you were part of the union, you still had that obligation of going to the union hall and freaking going to that class on Thursday nights until you get your journeyman license.
Okay.
Once you get your journeyman license, you're a journeyman, right?
Yeah.
That you don't have to go to classes. There's no requirement for you to rank up to master level, so they don't do those classes. In fact, by the time you're a freaking journeyman, you should already understand how to get to master level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's so. Like I said, man, just look into it and see what they have to offer and what their requirements are, and I can guarantee you'll find a job.
Oh yeah.
It might not be a very pleasant job, but it'll be a job.
Well, see, this is gonna sound weird, but like having worked in restaurants for so long, I'm half worried that going to an office gig will be
Culture shock.
not chaotic enough.
Yeah, culture shock.
Yeah.
So
I'm used to being
I
on
mean,
my feet for 12 hours a day. And
yeah, you'd do fine in trades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think you'd do fine in the trade. It depends on what trade you do. It's like I've got 2 trades that I've learned well enough to freaking work in.
It's like I'm used to long days. I don't really complain. Fucking, I mean, like this past week was a bit of a bitch because I had to 5 or 6 12-hour days in a row, and it's like, okay, come on, can I just sit down for 10 minutes? Just give me a tenner and we're good. But for the most part, it's like time in restaurants. It's like, oh yeah, I'm used to going like 6, 7, 8 hours without a break, and whatever, I'll just take them when I get them.
I fucking hate restaurant work or just like food work in general.
I
hate it too, but it pays.
I refuse to work doing. I refuse to do service. I can't do it. There's nothing wrong with it per se. As like my little brother, he's 20.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be 20 next month, and he's already a shift lead at McDonald's, making like $12 or $13 an hour, right? And for a 19-year-old, that's great pay. That's great. He's really made he's really done a pretty good job for himself getting to that place.
Right.
But I know that I would go to jail if I started working in fast food or the service industry, because I would get I would have one really off day, and then I would get a funny look from a customer, and then whatever is in my hand would be lodged in that customer's nose.
They would suddenly grow a knife out of their face. It was there when I got here, officer.
Officer, I didn't hit him. He walked into my fist.
Officer, don't worry. He actually looked like that when he walked in.
That's the nice, like with me, like I worked in an actual restaurant.
That's
like it's a slight jump from McDonald's, but like I'm actually having to make things from scratch. The kitchen is closed off, so I don't have to actually deal with people on a face-to-face basis.
Yeah, I don't think I would be able to deal with it.
See, that's not even my issue. Like, I can fake smile at people. I've done it all my life.
Yeah, I can too.
Yeah,
I mean, doing catering, you'll have guests that come back into the kitchen. I'm like, can I get this? I'm like,
no,
I have a knife. I'm just like, can you leave? Now's not a good time. Come back in about 5 minutes when I don't have a knife.
But no, for me, what it is it's endless work. Like there's no maybe it's just a perception problem in my opinion, but like when you go work a shift, right? You got a shift from 10 to 6.
Right.
There is no end to whatever you do. Like everything you do creates another thing to do. And
Right.
I hate it. I fucking hate it because it's like
Well, now we
there's
know
no
why you
goal.
don't like survival games.
Well, it's just like, all right, so like as a customer walks in, customer asks for a sandwich. I can make him a sandwich. That's fine. That's fine. I make him a sandwich. But now I have to go in the back and cut lettuce. Now I have to wash dishes. Now and then another customer walks in, and then you have to deal with the fact of like managing time. Like, I have to do all these things in the back, but at the same time I also have to take care of this random ass customer who wants gluten-free bread but also wants cookies by the end.
Fucking
But
those trendy motherfuckers, I hate them. Like,
See,
if
that's
you
that's
have...
one of the things that's one of the things that I like about the work that I do right now is like sometimes it seems like there's no end, but when at the end of the day, you know you did stuff. It's like
well, like
I walk away from every single job knowing that I did something,
Yeah.
knowing that I made something work, knowing that I made something like better.
well, like
Right.
so, like I've done what you do.
Yeah.
A little bit different thing. I've installed routers and stuff, and so I had to
Yeah,
drill
you were
holes
class
and
3. You were
yeah,
a class 3 signal
yeah,
technician.
and I like I got the job, and I didn't have to do this, but I showed up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I left at 10 o'clock at night, and I had no issue with it. And I did that for 2 weeks straight. I only had Sunday off, and I had no issue with it. I just kept going, and so like that kind of stuff. It's not. I don't know. I just don't view it the same. I was like, yeah, but maybe it's just like I view it as a goal system. All right, I gotta connect this MDF to like 8 rooms in this hallway. Okay, I'm done with this hallway. Let's move on to the next hallway to install more routers, drill holes into this. It's kind of the same thing as like endless work, but it's not endless in the sense that there's no goals. Like
Yeah,
at a restaurant or a fast
it's
food or
like
shit like
it,
that, your goal is to get to the end of the day.
yeah, pretty
And
much.
and like it's just a perception difference because that's not your goal in the work job I was working. Your goal is get done with this hallway.
See,
All right,
maybe
next
that's
hallway.
maybe this is starting. Now I don't know why you don't like freaking survival sandboxes because it's the exact same as having a trade job. All right, I want this. What do I need to do this?
I
I need
play
to do
video
this,
games
this,
for
this, and this.
I play video games for the story.
Yeah,
it's a relaxation
that's
so
yeah,
I like games that have stories. I like games that objectives. I like games where I make my objectives. I like games.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like so quote unquote hardcore games like
what do you mean?
Dank Souls.
like
Like
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls?
Yeah,
Dark Souls.
I don't like Dark Souls.
But the remaster
played-
hits this Friday,
I
my
had-
dudes.
I had no I had no interest in Dark Souls until I played through The Witcher 2. And that game was really difficult and I enjoyed how difficult it was and I'm like, Dark Souls might actually be interesting.
See, I play Witcher for the story.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all
no,
I play it for.
I played Witcher for the story.
Okay,
But
so-
did you play Witcher 2? Witcher 2 was hard as fuck.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
So I can-
and so
Speaking of which, I still have to go back and actually finish Witcher 3.
it's so good.
I have
can see
never
why-
gotten. I've gotten all the way out to that island with Yennefer, not finished it, and I don't think I've played it in like a year now.
It's so good.
I
I
can-
couldn't put that game down.
I can see why you wouldn't want to play Dark Souls for the story because
There is no
It's
story.
hidden. No,
It's
no,
so
no. There is a
obscure.
story.
Nope, there's no story.
There
Nope.
is a story though.
the
And,
story,
like,
the story
it's-
is you trying to not die.
There's no story. It's okay.
I have watched a ton of people like talk about Dark Souls and I listened to Buck rage about it and how good it is. I have a few friends who are like, oh no, there's a story, and like the lore throws me like I'm like, that's not my thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
mean,
varied.
I
It's
joke when
really
I say I
varied.
know that there's no story. It's just like I don't I don't know. It seems like
The
it's way too
entertainment
much
value is
frustration.
subsumed or
There's
subsued.
yeah, the entertainment value is completely overcome with frustration. It's like the most hardcore game that I ever actually played and enjoyed playing it was I think it was the original Ninja Gaiden. Not the Nintendo one, the freaking the original Xbox one.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fucking hard, but it was fun at the same time.
I think the only hard game I've ever played was The Witcher 2. Like
But see,
this,
I didn't really view Witcher series as hard.
well, two specifically. 3 wasn't as hard. 2 had a lot of mechanics that made it really difficult. Like, you had to take potions, had
Yeah,
to take potions, but you couldn't take potions in the middle of a battle. So if you didn't know that there was a cutscene coming up and you went in there without taking potions, because after every cutscene you were thrown directly into like a fight,
hmm No, I
you would
played.
get fucked. And so there was no way to heal yourself mid battle. You and like the dodge button became your best friend. But it was just stuff like that like I'm not used to that kind of stuff. I wasn't used to that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why I say it was the hardest game, because like I played Mass Effect. The games that I play are like Mass Effect, BioShock, Fallout, which are none of them are hard games, and then like Borderlands 2, and I'm just trying to think of what other games that I've enjoyed the
You
fuck
would
out of.
probably like the Tales series, like Tales from
Tales?
Vesperia and they're JRPG. They have really neat stories.
I can't do JRPGs. I can't do JRPGs, man. I
Why
can't.
not? Is it
I,
is it
I
is it a stigma or is it a
it's the
bias or something?
gameplay. It's the gameplay. I could probably if
I will
like
give you that. I can't stand the newer versions of JRPGs. I like the last I think Final Fantasy X was the last one that actually had the system that I liked playing with where all the combat was really turn-based and you could actually think about what you were doing
right. I
next.
hate turn-based shit. Like I've tried. I own both Dragon Age games, and
Oh no, I liked those too.
the combat in it just is it's boring to me.
The
Um,
Dragon Ages weren't turn-based.
they were slightly no, they
No,
weren't.
no, they weren't. They were
The
not
way
turn-based.
everybody, the way everybody talks about the new one, and then how a lot of the how to play like
Well, you had
tutorials,
stuff. You had it was very
MMO esque.
yeah, it was very MMOS. It's like you had your skills and everything had like cooldowns and whatnot. And like the first one, you could pause the combat and tell the other people to go do something in a certain way, and they would go do it after you unpaused it. But for the most part, it was real time. It's like the only thing that it was cooldown based. It's like Dragon Age 2. Uh, Dragon Age 2 was fucking. It wasn't turn based at all. That was. I'm pretty sure that was pure hack and slash. I can't remember. Um,
What are these two games?
Symphonia.
Symphoria.
Oh, I hated Symphonia.
What are they?
Oh, they're Tales series. They're JRPG. Hysteria, I didn't play that one, but I tried to play Symphonia and I fucking hated it. It was like the story. I couldn't get more than 2 or 3 hours into playing it because the all the characters are just like this is really fucking lame.
Here
I
I'm watching
couldn't.
the.
I just couldn't do it. Um,
Meanwhile,
Oh, that art style. Oh, that art style.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I'm over in my
I
little
couldn't
corner here
stand
playing
it.
Stalker, just being like, "Fuck you!
Yeah,
I have vodka and radiation."
I really should go get Stalker and play through those because those are my kind of games,
The
like
I like
Stalkers and
I like the
Fallout's.
Metro games.
okay,
It was
okay.
too linear. It was too linear.
If you like Metro, you will probably like Stalker.
I'll give it a shot when I have money.
I
The
have
I
The
will say that the next game that I get, hands down, no matter what, it has to be Conan Exile.
yeah.
Because I actually sat, I think it was Friday, actually. I sat down and I watched Jeff play
yeah,
Conan
Jeff got it.
Exiles, and it looked so good.
Is it isometric or is it
It's
No,
not
no,
isometric.
it's first person.
Oh.
It can be either first person or third person. It's
Oh.
basically Ark,
It's
except
Ark and
with
Rust. Take
it's
Ark
both of
and
them.
Rust and
Mix them.
just set it in the Conan universe without any
Okay.
guns.
And instead of dinosaurs, you're capturing people. You're recruiting people to
I
do things for you.
I did want to ask if you two have Warhammer 40K Space Marine.
I do.
No.
I have.
Here, what is this game?
I've played Space Marine. That's the one where you're the Ultramarine, right?
Yeah, it's a third-person
Yeah.
shooter.
Yeah, I
So
played
it's
that one.
not
It was
Dawn.
fun for it was fun for a play or two.
Yeah, not like the what is it the Horde mode? I
I
fucking
never played the
love.
Horde mode. I never played it on multiplayer or anything.
Oh, I fucking. So okay, so my opinion, I think that the multiplayer has a very good setup of rock paper scissors, in the sense of like assault marine beats tactical, tactical beats what are the devastator beats assault.
Uh, Tactical Marine kicks the shit out of an at a distance.
Out of what, huh? Out of assault marines?
Distance.
Well, assault marines have the
Never
jump
mind.
packs.
Freaking. Well, yeah, but jump packs on.
Or, no, okay, maybe I have that backwards. Assault or tactical beats assault. Assault meets devastator. Yeah, that. I'm
That
sorry. Yeah,
sounds more accurate
yeah.
because assault marines are designed to counter heavy shock troops, which is what devastators are.
My
Devastators are the
my
long range. They have no short range.
yeah. Well,
Whereas the
my
tactical is that middle ground between the
yeah.
two.
Like my point being that if you die as one class, you know what you did wrong and how to counter what just happened.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like okay,
Speaking
I got
you
dropped
said
on by
something
a guy
about
with a fucking power mace. If I just equip this storm bolter, I'll be fine then. And you can kind
so
of trade things around.
you're talking you said something you asked about it being isometric earlier.
Uh,
There now we're talking about 40K, which leads me into another game that I would really like it if you guys got into. But I'm not going to like demand it or anything. Freaking Warhammer 40K, Inquisitor Martyr.
I think you've mentioned it
it's on my
Yes, I
before. It's
list.
have. I've
also
mentioned a number of.
It is on my list.
It's awesome. It's isometric. It's a freaking action RPG set in 40K universe. It's going to be releasing in full next month. It was supposed to release earlier this month, but they wanted one of the stipulations for the company to have taken it on is that they release the all versions for it at the same time, being the Xbox version and the PlayStation version and the PC version. The
Mm-hmm.
PC is good to go, but they had to push off the release date so that the console versions could be released at the same time as the PC version. But it's so far the beta version that I've been playing has been it's been phenomenal. There are parts where it's kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything feels just a little bit underpowered, and like your weapons just feel really can at times feel really underpowered, but at the same time they did such a phenomenal job in recreating the grimdark of 40K in
Mm-hmm.
an isometric format. It's like
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to actually going through and playing the entire story for it because it's really interesting. But you're not a space marine. You're an inquisitor in it, and it's really freaking cool. It's a
So,
really
so you're
good.
you're you're a bit more of a badass than a space marine.
No.
No, Inquisitors are yeah, just explain it, Big.
So inquisitors, like you understand what the Inquisition was back in the 1600s.
Yeah.
So you know how in Warhammer 40K you have the cult of the God Emperor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Inquisitors are a branch of the government that seek out heresy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So whenever there's an exterminatus or there's a purge or whatever, there's an inquisitor. An inquisitor goes in and they try to figure out what the hell is going on. You know, is there actually heresy here, or is it just, you know, is it uh, an invasion by Xenos or whatever? And if there is heresy going on, they can either root it out and freaking purge the heretics or whatever, and if not, if they deem that the planet that in which the heresy is taking place is too far gone, like they're just they've been taken over by traitor space marines or whatever. Cults have gotten too strong, or the chaos cults have gotten too strong, and they're too prevalent in the population. They call down an exterminatus,
Mm-hmm.
and they just purge the entire fucking planet. Doesn't matter how many innocents are there. They excise the wound, and then they start from scratch.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
That's what
lore of 40K is it is just
it's
ridiculous
brutal.
times 2 billion.
I would
Um,
never, ever want to live in the times of Warhammer 40K, and I can't say that about any other sci-fi universe that I'm freaking in love with. This is the only one that I would never, ever want to live in. Like, ever.
it's like a mix of fascism and a bunch of
So,
other
like,
things.
if you think,
Theocracy,
yeah, if you think about, like,
theocracy that shouldn't have started because
the
the
Middle
emperors like
Ages,
don't have any gods. But then when he died, everybody's like, the
You're the
emperor's
god
god.
now.
The emperor's god now.
yeah, I mean, if you think about, like, the Gothic period in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
then technologize them. Like throw those very people into the future and give them all the technology that like the year 40,000 supposedly would have. That's what you would have.
So
You would
It's like
have
I'm I'm sorry.
like
I'm
16th century Europe in space.
I started reading up on the Spanish Inquisition, and I can probably. This is on stream. Fuck. There we go. We're good now.
oh yeah, that's a great image.
Yeah, burning at the stake.
But it's like if
But
you it's like a
so the
theocracy gone
okay. So the Inquisition
demonic.
Yeah,
would
but
burn.
here's the thing about it is it's actually you cannot I can't imagine the human race surviving in the grim dark universe without that. It's like humans are so
Um
I can't it's necessary for survival that this kind of government
So
and everything took
I
place. It's like
from
became
everything
about.
okay. So
from everything that
I
go
have to
ahead,
ask
Buck.
just so given that the Spanish Inquisition persecuted Jews that would not convert, does this mean that in 40K, chaos is just the moon Jews, and we're
Uh
persecuting them?
the no no there's a lot of from what my understanding is racism, but like not racism in as in like between humans. Like there's other races within the 40k
Right.
universe
It's
that
actual
cannot
physical racism, like fuck
yeah they've
Tyranids,
and
they're
they
not
can't
human.
yeah
It,
and
it's not so much a we could possibly get along, we're just not going to because we're fucking pieces of shit bigots. It's they will fucking eat us if we don't kill them.
there yeah there's a lot of that to
It's
it, like
it's
orcs,
proactive
it's
self.
orcs, right?
It's Starship Troopers, but better.
Orcs, Tyranids, freaking the Tau, they would freaking destroy us.
I
The
prefer the lore
Eldar,
of go
the
ahead go ahead.
Eldar are freaking. They're not very fond of humans, but they don't like go out of their way to kill humans if they can. Like freaking the orcs,
well,
they're just looking
well
for war.
Well, when I say racism, I don't mean just on the human side. Like it's not just like one-sided. There's a hatred between all of them. But like on the whole fucking Starship Troopers. Is it Starship Troopers? Did I say that right?
Sure, yeah, Starship
Wait,
Troopers.
Buck, what did you just say?
I said it's Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I actually prefer Starship Troopers lore. To be
Yeah,
completely
Starship
honest,
Troopers, freaking
I
like the
I
Federation, and it's not really. It's pretty good.
it's so much better, and like a lot of how things went makes more sense to me. This is just like I said, and I don't mean ridiculous is in the sense of just like being negative. It's just ridiculous. Like
It's
the
a
shit that
very dark universe.
yeah the shit that happens and the like the reasons for it and all that kind of stuff. I'm also not the biggest fan of theocracy, and so like I already have a slight bias against
Oh
like
yeah,
the
but
universe
I'm
in
not really a
general.
fan of I'm not really a fan of either. But the thing about it is like designed they've designed the whole universe and how to make that theocracy kind of necessary.
Right,
Like,
but there are no in
have you?
morally good guys in
Yeah,
this universe.
no one is like clear cut good. Every single one is like just
It's
there.
closer to evil
It's like
than good if you were to
it's
try
like
to
all of the races they behave according to their instincts. Like
Or
orcs,
whatever
they're not
doctrine they follow.
necessarily
Yeah.
bad. They're just a warrior. They're just a warlike species. Like I've read lore. I think it was arc. It
xenophobic.
was war. It was oh, there's this channel. Let me look it up really quick. And he actually goes through and he explains the lore and everything. And he's really Arch Warhammer, I think it's called.
Oh yeah,
Arch
he's into the
Warhammer, yeah,
Yeah,
he like
Arch Warhammer.
I know him from Sargon's live
Yeah,
streams. I've seen
he's going through. He's making his whole channel is basically dedicated to Warhammer 40K and game reviews and things like that. He's going through the lore of Warhammer 40K, and he explained the orcs and some of the theories and like some of the things that are kind of hinted at as like you know who the freaking necro the
Necrons.
skeleton dudes Necrons, yes, you know who the Necrons are, right, Paul?
yeah, of course.
So there's the idea that the Eldar and the orcs actually fought against the Necrons and their and the gods, the quote unquote gods that the Necrons were uh enslaved to, and
Mhm.
both the Eldar and the orcs were created by the Elder race, and that the orcs were actually made to be warriors and like to fight against the Necrons and everything like that, which is why they're not evil per se. That's just what they are. Like they love fighting. They love risking their lives, and like if an orc gets killed in battle, it was a good death. It doesn't matter what's going on.
Yeah,
Like
Krogan basically.
that's how they want to die.
Krogan.
Yeah, pretty much. I would like them
Yeah,
on
and
Or the
Krogan,
orcs of Skyrim.
yeah,
except
I would
except
actually
orcs, except orcs are fucking they're fungi.
Yeah, no, that's another thing that like throws
That
me
makes
for a
them just
loop. They
like
they there's so much like departures from like it's almost like they said, okay, fantasy that's too it's too simple. We're gonna complicate the fuck out of it and throw it in face
no,
in
but that's
space.
what makes
Oh
that's
no,
what makes the orcs so cool, you know? It's like
I I'm not saying that in a negative fashion. It's just
no,
that's what it feels
I'm
like.
just I'm embellishing. That's like my favorite thing about the orcs is like they don't if you get orcs on your planet in any way, like one or two orcs, guess what? You're going to have an orc infestation in the next 10 or 15 years, and it's never going to go away. Ever. Ever. Because they don't reproduce the way animals do. They release spores when they get killed, and those spores freaking spread out, and all of a sudden you've got a million fucking orcs being created.
Yeah, that's the reason why they don't care about how they die.
Hmm
Their death helps them.
their death is their way of reproducing. And like freaking
Which
Tyranids,
They'll just
holy
make
crap,
more.
Tyranids.
They'll
Freaking.
make a fuck ton
y-
more.
y- So, like Buck, you know you understand StarCraft, right?
Not too much, but I have played Dawn of War 2.
This is a different
I know StarCraft is a different
universe.
game, but I've played some of the Warhammer 40k games in the sense of like Dawn of War 2 and
Dawn of War 2 was really neat. So the Zerg were actually you could say that the Zerg ripoff of the Tyranids.
right.
It's like this big, massive hive mind, this flood of
don't
creatures
don't let the
just
Koreans in.
devouring everything.
Don't let the
Everything
Korean.
organic. Go ahead.
Right.
No, I was just gonna say don't let the Koreans hear you say that.
Fuck the Koreans.
um,
It's like
The
but
South
it
the
is
South ones are
there was
cool, I
actually a
guess.
loss. I think I might be remembering this wrong. I think there was an actual between freaking Games Workshop and Blizzard because of the design of the Zerg.
mm,
And the Space Marines and the Terrans because the armor and the Marines for the Terrans are so similar to the Space Marines in the Warhammer 40k. I'm pretty sure there was some kind of lawsuit that Blizzard won because they were different enough to be considered an original IP. So
different enough. But yeah, no, it's just for me. It's like I understand a good amount of it. I've been around people the majority of my life who enjoy it, but it's never been something that I've been interested in. I don't want to say it's I don't want to say it's overcomplicated. Um, but it does seem like there's a lot of convoluted stuff about Warhammer in
yeah,
my
no, I
opinion,
mean
which is what
that's
as a writer that's what throws me.
That's
Like
actually one of my favorite things about like most of the game universes. Gears of War, like that is a very interesting universe.
I've
Freaking the books behind it. StarCraft, that's a very interesting universe and the books behind it. Halo, that's a really interesting
I
universe and
prefer
the books
Halo
behind them.
to all three of
Freaking
all.
I love all of them. Not necessarily equally. I will always be a very diehard StarCraft fan.
Mm-hmm.
You
Which is
know,
fun.
that's one of the ones that I cut my teeth on when it comes to RTSs. Dawn of
Command and
War
Conquer
came
for me.
later. Oh, yeah, it was one of them. I think Command and Conquer was the very first RTS I played, and then StarCraft after that, and I fell in love. Freaking StarCraft was so fun. I loved the story behind it, and I loved the gameplay. It's just everything about StarCraft is great, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
I
Um,
yeah.
I'm not too thrilled with how they did some of the things in um, the most recent ones because they did some retconning. It's like they've changed how some of the physics, how some of the weapons worked in.
Isn't there only two of them
Well, yeah, there are.
in the
Well,
StarCraft?
technically, technically.
And then there's a remake of 2.
Um, no, the first game was StarCraft, and then you had StarCraft Brood War, which could arguably be considered the real StarCraft 2, because the first StarCraft came out with 30 campaign missions, right? You had the human campaign, which was 10. You had the Zerg campaign, which was 10. You had the the Protoss campaign that was 10, and then the expansion came out, which was Brood War, and the human campaign, it started out with the Protoss campaign, which was 10, and then the human campaign, which was 10, and then the Zerg campaign that was 10. So they were both arguably equal games by themselves, right? But it was because it was still it was considered an expansion pack because it used the base game to build off of it. And then you had StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty come out, and that had 30. All of it was Terran campaign. And then a couple of years later, you had StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm come out, and that was 30. And then you had StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void came out, and that was like a year and a half ago that it came out.
Right.
And I would argue that all 5 of the games are standalones. If you want to really get into that whole StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, right? I have to look at them all as separate games. But like when I go back and I actually like look at how the weapons for the Terrans are supposed to work, like the average rifle, it was a CM10 penetrator, no, impaler Gauss rifle.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Gauss rifle. You know what a Gauss rifle is, right?
Uses magnets to propel something to, is it supersonic speeds?
Hypersonic.
Hypersonic.
Now, the problem with that description is everybody automatically thinks either rail guns or coil guns. But they could also be a different thing. It's like one of the Gauss effects is, you know how those table toys where you have the balls hanging from strings and you drop one and it hits them and then the one on the far side goes?
Yeah.
That's all. I'm pretty sure that's also considered a Gauss effect, except it uses electromagnetism to take a heavy object, hit a piston or a transfer medium onto a light object, and then the kinetic force from that magnet propelling that heavier object, it's transferring all of its kinetic energy into that smaller object, which would launch the bullet. We'll just say bullet for now, at hypersonic speeds.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is, like, you start getting into the cutscenes in the cutscenes in the game, and you're seeing bullets with casings. They wouldn't. They technically wouldn't need casings if they were using a coil gun, or if they were using a rail, or if they were using the Gauss effect that I just described. They wouldn't need it. And the only way I can actually wrap my head around it is if the casing isn't actually holding the bullet itself, it's actually a discarding Sabo round, right?
A Sabot
and
round. Is it Sabo or
Sabo.
Sabot? Sabo.
It's
Sabo's
Sabo.
pronounced. Okay.
It's SABOT. It's Sabo.
Right.
And they're basically they're smaller than
they're
the
tank
actual
shells, basically, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, tanks have 2 different kinds of shells. They have Sabo rounds, which is basically just a freaking needle with fins on it that's
Right,
ejected,
that's
and then they have
anti-armor.
the explosive rounds. They have the HE rounds, which is basically like your standard artillery round, which is a freaking metal jacket stuffed with freaking explosives, and then that's shot through an actual gun barrel. But with a Sabo round, it has to have a packing on it, and that packing is what allows it to go through the gun barrel without like going off trajectory or anything.
Right.
So that's the only way that I can actually like make things work in my head, because they describe it as a Gauss rifle, right? But it ejects casings,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's just, I mean, the fire coming, the flame coming out of the muzzle of the barrel, that's easy to explain. It's like the round is moving so fast, it actually causes a thermal reaction in the air, because it's hitting the air so fast and it's going through the air so fast that it's actually heating it up and making a thermal reaction of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's why you can actually, like, in that brings me back to Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer 3 and Command and Conquer 2, they had railguns in them. And in the railguns, you had a freaking, it looks like a laser beam. And the way to explain that is the round is traveling so fast that it's causing the air that it's traveling through to have a thermal reaction, and it's basically looking like a lightning bolt, because the air going through it, it's going through the air so fast that it's causing it to heat up to like levels that is like the surface of the sun hot.
Plasma tier,
Uh-huh.
essentially.
It's a plasma channel through the air. You know, it's just, that's one of the things that just intrigues me so much about some of these universes, is like, how would they make this work? You know, how would you be able to explain this? You know, I mean, freaking in Warhammer 40K, they have bolt guns. Bolt guns actually, they shoot freaking 40 millimeter grenades. It's like, but they're rocket propelled. You know, it's like it shoots out, and the projectile fires, and then it's got solid rocket fuel that propels it, and then it either explodes on its own when it reaches the end of that rocket propellant, or it hits an object and it explodes.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the every in a bolt gun, every round has an explosive tip. So it's like a fucking handheld
like,
Tomahawk missile launcher.
Well, like they're basically all freaking they're all basically 40 millimeter grenades, right?
Yeah.
So when you shoot a 40 millimeter grenade, it's supposed to turn so many times before it explodes, or it hits something and explodes.
Yeah.
It basically, they do the same exact thing, except a 40 millimeter grenade is just, it just has that explosive charge when it's launched, and then everything else is trajectory.
Does that mean it has a computer in it?
No,
it's
got a mechanical fuse in it that works off of the centrifugal force in that the grenade produces when it's spinning, because a 40 millimeter grenade launcher is rifled. It's a rifled barrel.
Right.
When I said Tomahawks, I wasn't being serious.
No, I understand.
He
had mentioned the fact that they explode after a certain amount of turns, and I was thinking that was computer controlled.
There's a mechanical fuse in it. Now there is an experimental grenade launcher, an XM10, that does that. It will range find the target.
Sounds really expensive to produce.
It will range find the target, and then it will program the fuse to explode after it's gone this distance, or when it hits something. It's really, really cool.
How does it?
Sorry, I've been nerding out for like, I think, the past 15 or 20 minutes.
Dude, that's fine. This show has no format. I'm gonna call it the name of the stream now. Is this no format required?
No format. All right.
It's like, I mean, it's like 12:30, and
I know.
talking, but at the same time, I know I have to get up in like 5.5 hours.
Well, we better call it here then.
Should we call it then?
I mean, I guess.
I mean,
I kind of want to keep going, but at the same time, I kind of have to freaking.
I don't want you to work 12 hours on 4 hours of sleep. I have had to do that. It's not fun.
I
Yeah,
keep
tomorrow
walking
is.
into my 6-hour into my 9-hour shifts with staying up all night. I don't know why I keep doing it, but
Because you hate your job and you don't give a fuck.
I
Probably.
was just like, oh boy.
It's like
I mean,
just
I like my job. You
yeah.
know, I like what I do. It's just I'd like to be able to do it with enough sleep to function because
Yeah.
I'm working with electricity that could kill
Anything
me.
to not shock yourself, my dude.
Oh,
Then
I've
why
shocked
don't
myself plenty of times. I actually have a scar on my freaking right index finger from like 2 weeks ago because I shocked the shit out of myself.
Wow.
oof.
Yeah, electrical
Then
burns. They
If
don't
we,
go away.
if we want to talk
that
scars,
sounds
I think I
great.
win because surgery, but that's a different thing.
Oh, I've had surgery too. I've actually got a scar going across my belly.
I've
I got
got
attacked by an African lynx on my face. I'm not
So
kidding.
what you're saying is
Did
you were in
did
Afghanistan.
No, no,
you
I was by
You've
the
you've got
salmon run pond in Olympia.
you,
That's
so you've got the
I gotta
shemagh.
ask the question. I gotta ask the question. Did it make any improvements?
no, no, not at all.
Are you sure?
Um,
I mean, some chicks find scars to be hot. You know.
some, I don't know.
Well, most.
I
I mean, my
No,
guy look at my
it was
chest and
this
be
guy.
like, "You poor thing. What did you do? Wrestle a shark and lose?"
And lose. Wait, if you lost, how are you still standing with 2 feet?
I was gonna say, any wrestling match you walk away from with a shark, you kind of didn't lose that one.
I can remember like
No,
when I was in fucking middle school, like gym class, kids would look at my chest and be like, "What the fuck happened to you?" I'm like, I fought a bear because I was bored," and they just wouldn't fuck with me.
no, so
I
mine's
just
really pathetic. Like how I got attacked is really pathetic. Because what had happened was this dude, he was just standing in the middle of this park, which is connected to the salmon run in
Jesus
down in
Christ,
Olympia,
that was loud.
and he had a lynx, like a full-grown lynx with him. Now, he has all these kids surrounding him, right? And he keeps telling the parents, he's like, don't let your kids touch it. It doesn't like to be touched. It'll get aggressive if it's touched. This little kid right in front of me, he's like, okay, bops it on the nose and then runs away. The thing must have had a slow reaction because it went after me. And
You
it
mother!
got
I'm
my
gonna take it
face.
out on you.
that's what I was thinking.
You son of a
So
bitch!
I've got
You'll do.
mine's not as my story for the scar I have on my isn't as cool. It's actually kind of stupid. Um, we were up in Wisconsin, Waukesha, Wisconsin. It was 96, 97, and freaking there was this 7 or 8 foot icicle hanging off the corner of our house, right? Me and my little brother thought it would be cool if we knocked it down and actually showed everybody. So my dumbass goes over, holds it at the bottom, and he climbs up onto the stairs and knocks it down. Well, it starts coming down, and it's coming right for my face. And I'm like, oh shit. So I start, instead of sidestepping and letting go of the icicle, I start backpedaling and holding on to the icicle. The bottom of the icicle. I didn't slide my hand up to try and catch this part that was coming from my face or anything. I held on to the bottom of the icicle while it was falling towards my face. And it hit me in the face. It's like I finally, like halfway through it falling, was like, why am I holding on to this piece of shit? And I let go of it and tried to push it away from me, which just increased its turning speed. And the
Oh.
edge that broke off from the roof hit me right on the cleft of my chin, like that spot where it turns, where your lip turns
Oh, that
into your chin.
Yeah.
It hit me
that must have
right
felt great.
there.
It must have felt
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My dad's got a scar
it
there,
didn't
so-
really hurt per se, but it left a pretty nasty scar that's like permanent. It's like I think I posted a picture of my face in the freaking Saints Discord when we were talking about shaved heads the other day with Bar.
Yeah, yeah.
Freaking, if you look at it, you look like that on my chin. You can see the scar because hair won't grow there. It's covered now because I've got a beard and everything, but.
Yeah.
And then the other scar that I have, the really prominent one, is actually on my belly button. When I was born, I was massive. I was like 11 pounds 9 ounces, right? And because of how big I was, it caused a hernia in the lining of my stomach, right underneath my belly button. And when I was 7, my intestines decided to come out through that hole between my my guts and the muscle, my abdominal wall, and start knotting up.
Oh.
So luckily we got to a doctor in time, because if I hadn't gotten to that doctor in time, I would have died like 2 or 3 days later. So they split me open from my left side to my right and fixed everything, and then had to reconstruct my belly button, and now I have this scar that's going from, it's like hemispheres my freaking it's a half circle going around the bottom of my belly button, and they had to rebuild it.
It's like a smile. No, okay.
Does it go around like, around one of your sides or like?
No, straight on front.
Oh.
Like it starts there and then it goes around, or it's just like kind of a.
No, it's just a little half circle on the.
Okay, because I've got a straight cut from just below my sternum down to my belly button, and that was where I had to have my my esophagus realigned because I was born 2 months premature.
Ew.
So I couldn't eat. I had a I've got fucking IV. I've got a scar in my hand from an IV. I've got a scar in my left wrist from an IV. I'm sorry, left forearm. I've got a scar. This is all from the same procedure too.
What is this crazy person in this Discord going no about?
In the Discord, I don't know.
Oh. Mega blocks are lame.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is.
Like, why is she going no?
That's Sunny.
Yeah, it's Sunny. Why is she going no?
Because we're talking about surgery and it's probably grossing her the fuck out.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna be men and talk about this anyway.
I see. Like I was born small and blue.
Oh, I'm not done with my fucking scar list. I got a lot. But like the last big one is
not to be a complete asshole, but Panda is giving me it's fucking time to turn it off and
it's fucking bedtime.
Panda.
I'll finish with I had to have a direct line to my heart with pure caffeine.
Pav says hi. She said hi back.
I heard who.
Well, she said she definitely said hi. Say hi.
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 Hey, Pandy. See that's not the same as it's fucking bedtime.
Yeah, it's pretty much this. It's
So,
bedtime. She's giving me the I will freaking murder you if you don't come to bed right now and snuggle with me.
Do it now or you get stabbed, kid.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a no-format show that has lasted, I think, the full 2 hours at this point.
Yeah, we've actually made it the full 2 hours. Shoot, Pav, you want to close this out?
No.
Okay.
You're better at it.
Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your unformatted, locked and loaded. We have been your somewhat undirected hosts. Freaking Smart Pig 2150 myself, Sergeant Buck, and Pavaros. He's no longer the program manager. He is now a full-fledged host. Thank you.
Wait, why? What did my job change?
Don't.
Why did I get the memo?
Because
getting
it was
a-
arbitrarily decided by me at the beginning of the stream.
Why are you questioning a promotion? What's wrong with you?
Exactly,
This is
that's
a
what I'm
promotion.
trying to wonder.
Oh.
So we thank you all for joining us for this highly irregular for us show. We hope to see you guys again next time. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.